the pinnacle of human legacy to create structures out of mass steel, rock, and glass to reach and illuminate the skylines of urban cities. However, such artificial beauty disrupts native wildlife. Dallas is the 9th largest city in the United States with a population that reaches a little over 1.3 million people, and that is not including the native wildlife that still tries to find its place in the city. All of native wildlife to different cities around North America, but our example city is Dallas, Texas. The wildlife there is quite a variety of sorts. However, many of the wildlife there avoids the cities because of the dangers of vehicles, run-ins with domestic animals, and destruction of natural habitat. As a person that has gone on multiple trips for conservation research, how important is it for cities to care about wildlife?
I think it's important for cities to care about wildlife. As we continue to expand our cities, we're taking up more and more space that wildlife has, and so we are encroaching on their territory. As you recognize now, they even have a category called urban animals, because these are ones that have now, their habitat is actually going to be the city because they don't have any habitat left.
Do you think cities do enough to compensate for what land we, people, take and build on?
No. I know that we've had a lot of problems in the city of Dallas with wild animals being in people's backyards. We've seen cougars. I've actually seen a fox in my backyard. So as we're expanding and taking up this land that I just spoke about, we are not replacing it with other land for these wild animals. So they're going into backyards. We've had bears in swimming pools, not bears in Dallas, but bears in other cities in swimming pools. So it's a real problem. It's a real problem because as their environment shrinks and they don't adapt to other ones, they're going to be going extinct.
What do you think cities should do to be more environmental and wildlife friendly?
Well, I think that the cities need to start enacting some laws, and I think that we need to start putting aside space for habitat and for these wild animals. I think as we just continue to get greedy and build and build and build, we're going to end up like the Lorax of Dr. Seuss, and we're going to end up destroying our environment.
What can us normal people of the community do to help neighboring wildlife?
Well, first of all, do not approach wildlife. Let it stay in its natural state. It's not a pet. And a lot of times people want to make these wild animals their pets, and they're not. So let them stay in their natural habitat. Don't feed them. Don't interact with them. Just observe them and enjoy them.
Luckily for the animals and native greenery, there's an Audubon Center that is part of the National Audubon Society. This place prides itself in helping, conserving, and opening its doors to all people wanting to help, explore, or just relax from the bustling streets of the city. An estimate of 1 million birds die every year because of tall building windows or blinding light pollution by top-floor room light windows to unsuspecting, migrating, or local birds. It is the leading cause of bird deaths in North America, as an estimate of between 1.5 and 2 billion migratory birds die by human activity. Though a daunting reality to the leading cause of bird deaths, there aren't many organizations aware of it. Fortunately, the Trinity River Audubon Center supports this organization in hope that people will become more aware of what we may think is a pinnacle of what we can create to light the city night sky can become the end to an unsuspecting life. knew that such obvious structures could become the primary cause for birds to die, but sadly, they are not the only ones to be affected. As of current status, all fish of the Trinity River are poisonous to digest, as all fish have been sickened by the amount of pollutants that swim in the water. As people, we have to acknowledge that no matter how far we think we are from natural ecosystems, we will be affected one way or another, and that is what cities don't understand. We have to care about the wildlife around us as well, to care about our futures as people in hope to better our lives. Cities don't have many regulations to protect native wildlife, plants, and animals, but there must be something. Though cities pride themselves in their most flashiest and tallest buildings, they're not the only things that cities will invest in. Clyde Warren Park is a prime example of what the city has done to help native plants by planting more than 35 native plant species and has more than 300 trees, making the park eco-friendly for people to enjoy the outdoors. Yet these parks are nothing to the community if they're not cared for by the community itself. We have a civil obligation to keep our recreational and neighborhood parks clean to better our environment and our wildlife. We have to keep our parks eco-friendly and not just for us, but for animals and plant life so that nothing affects them that can and/or will affect us.
I think they could put more of an effort in to make parks more friendly for animals, and yeah, I think right now it's doing an okay job, but it could be better.
Not really. I always say they don't, because most of the focus is on like attractions and things for people and making money rather than animals per se. So I would say no.
No.
I would agree.
Hard
no.
pass.
I don't think they do.
I mean, like, there's two ideas about wildlife, but I feel like we don't promote, like, going to, like, the lake, or, well, White Rock gets a lot of attention, but, like, Trinity River, I feel like we need a lot more, like, cleanup on that, and, like, promotion of the wildlife there. And just in general, I feel like we could definitely put, like, more trees into, like, medians, and, like, really emphasize, like environmental art as a city in general, because right now it's like concrete jungle everywhere besides like this one tiny little patch of land.
Inner cities probably not, just because they want to create like parking garages and stuff like that, and they're actually trying to deter birds, so probably not a lot is done to protect native birds and probably other wildlife. But in terms of like trees and stuff, probably yeah. I mean, if you look around, like they've clearly planted a lot of trees to make up for all the concrete that they put down. So yes, in that way.
Yeah, and I think Dallas is trying. I think most cities are trying to get more eco-friendly, like building parks and stuff like that. Like right next, we live downtown, down the street. They're building a huge park right next to us. But for wildlife, I don't think there's like anything really besides birds.
No matter how many parks a city may create, for a park to be eco-friendly, it has to be not just for the people visiting it, but also for our animal neighbors that are trying to fit in as much as we are. To do that, we have to push ourselves to help, learn, and grow so we can help our city neighbors. The city may not do much for our native wildlife, but that doesn't mean we, as people of the community, can't help. Curious to learn more or want to do something more to help our environment, go to the Trinity River Audubon Center official website at trinityriver.audubon.org or Instagram and/or Facebook. You can research more and/or contact the staff there. They would extremely welcome all new explorers. You can also email us at marlufilms@gmail.com. Follow us on our Instagram and our Facebook page. Together, we can all make an impact on the lives of our wildlife neighbors.